You are listening to Wicked Psychotherapists, a podcast where two psychotherapists show you that taking care of and learning about mental health doesn't have to be wicked hard.
Hey guys, it's Tanya.
And hi, this is Erin, and welcome to Wicked Psychotherapists.
Yeah, welcome. We are getting into the spirit of Halloween because that is coming up and just fall. This is a time we both really like. We both like the spooky things. Obviously, we're the Wicked Psychotherapists, and we have a witch cackle in our opening theme song. We decided to continue with Adam Sandler, but also throw in that Halloween vibe with his pretty recent movie of Hubie Halloween. It is a really cute movie. There's a lot of elements to it. It's also set in New England, set in Massachusetts. It actually really was filmed there. My husband's cousin was living on the same street where they were filming it in Swampscott, but also just seeing like all the, I recognize all the Eastern Massachusetts houses are very distinct, at least if you live in Western Mass. Also the Salem Museum and seeing certain parts of Salem was really nice. We see the whole cast, the whole gang is there. For Adam, including all his buddies that he has. They're recurring. And it's really funny and charming to us that he continues to have like his kids, his wife, but also like his buddies like Steve Buscemi and Kevin James, Tim Meadows, Colin Quinn. Is it Quinn?
Yeah, Ben Stiller and Rob Schneider. Yeah, a few of them. And I think we were laughing before we were starting to record too, that there are so many Easter eggs to all of Adam Sandler's movies, or most of them. So it's really fun, especially if you love him like we do. You'll be like, oh, and there's that and that.
Yeah, it's fun to point out and find. He gives little hints back, references to older movies that he did. There's so many great references that if you're an Adam Sandler movie fan, you'll recognize some of those patterns. This is a movie that I'd probably say we are going to talk about the entirety of it. It was out in 2020. If you're coming here, you've probably watched it. I love the opening scene with Ben Stiller as Nurse Hal.
And he even says the same thing he says in the two movies. It's like, basic, like it's so funny. Like, because at first I was like, wait a minute, is that Ben Stiller? And I love that his name was still Hal, because you're in his world now.
I wonder if that's where, after he got fired from taking care of grandmother, he went and worked there with werewolves and stuff
for a little. And then in Happy Gilmore 2, he was running self-help, like that type of thing. So poor Hal just can't keep a job.
His own cult / AA helping. Well, really, it was just his own way of having people, indentured servants, basically.
Yeah.
So we enjoyed it for a lot of reasons, because it's Adam Sandler, because of all those charming little that he adds to his movies. We meet Hubie, and there's a lot of panning through these New England scenes and Massachusetts, and I don't know if it was filmed like in other places for the setting, but I did recognize a lot of places out in Eastern Mass. But it's just really nice because it was like peak fall and really, really nice to see. I like that. And we meet Hubie and we get the sense that he's a little different, right? Which again is a recurring pattern and theme in Adam's character.
Yes.
That he's
a little off in all of them.
Yeah. He's got something that maybe developmentally, maybe he's not up to par, right? He's kind of rigid in his thinking. He doesn't really understand sarcasm. He sticks to a rigid sense of what's right and wrong. He feels like he needs to report everything that's wrong. If somebody, leaves something in the road, like a rapper, he's got to run to the police station and make a million reports. He's just hyper responsible and kind of hyper rigid.
And that's interesting too, because in a couple of his other movies, he's very sheltered from his mother. And in this one, his mother's trying to protect him because her ancestors tried to show everyone what's right and wrong. She tried to help him realize, like, okay, well, you have to be the voice. And so he made himself the self-proclaimed monitor of Halloween and monitor of Salem.
Yeah, he did kind of make that title for himself. I did like that tie-in with him saying, well, my relatives were from the Salem witch trials, and they were, because of what they stuck up for what was right, then they were accused of being witches, and that's something very much built into Salem history and that spooky Halloween factor that's very big here in New England. And that kind of guided his behavior when his mom is very much in support of her boy, very protective. Yeah, he's just trying to live his life. He's trying to do the right thing. He tries to help out wherever he can, even if it's kind of misguided. It's maybe not the most helpful. He seems to be irritating Officer Steve a lot. Officer Steve doesn't like him because he goes to him to report a lot of things about people buying extra eggs and toilet paper on mischief night or whatever. And Officer Steve, who's played by Kevin James, is like, well, that's that. I think he just relates to that. And you can find a lot of material out of it that's really funny.
Yeah. Well, and also it's stuff that people can relate to. People haven't always felt like the coolest or accepted, whether it's elementary school, high school, by him really going the other way of being such a dork or having people dislike him. There's something about it that most people can relate to, where, maybe not to that extreme, but it's like, oh yeah, I have felt uncomfortable in this situation. Or yeah, I wasn't the most popular. He's just really making it noticeable.
The townspeople, it seems like he grew up there, and everybody, not only the generation he grew up with, but their children are taught to relentlessly pick on him, tease him, bully him. Like he's riding down the street in his bike and, people are just throwing stuff at him, like eggs, and shouting mean things at him. And he just takes it in stride. He like catches it with his thermos, his like magical thermos. That's
very much like the thermos reminded me very much of like Inspector Gadget or something. It's like all of a sudden, go thermos, become like a hook, become a flashlight.
Multi-use, yeah. It's very handy. I kind of wondered, how did he do that himself? If so, he's definitely got some skills and talents. Who knows if he's descended from quote-unquote witches. He's very mocked. He's not taken seriously. Even at his job, he's a butcher. He works at like a meat counter. We see all these characters, even his coworkers are just messing with him. They don't take him seriously. Insecure and bullying him because he's ripe for the picking. He's just got a good heart and he doesn't really see those things. He doesn't do that to other people. So I think he kind of attracts that in bullying. And they know that he can't really tell when people are maybe trying to kind of sneak attack them. It's really weak on their part to do that.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting too, because when he's at the meat counter of wherever he's working, Stop and Shop or whatever it is, you'd think the kid Mike, at first I was thinking like, oh, they're friends.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh no, this kid is such a jerk. He's so mean to him.
He's in on the joke with a character. I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
That's another classic. I was just like, wow, cool. Everyone learns that even at the party later on, somebody's like, oh, my grandma gave him his first, I'm not going to say it, but basically bullied him physically, which would be considered harassment and assault. It is, but it's just a town effort for people to not even question it, just go after him. It's really cruel because he obviously has some issues navigating the world and he may be just kind of rigid in his approach because he's very anxious, or maybe he has some developmental delays, but either way, so he just kind of incites these people's need to feel powerful. That's kind of the core of bullying. Yeah.
Something makes him not get disgruntled or really down on himself with all the bullying. And I don't know if it's just the positiveness of his mother or the support, because she seems very supportive and just very happy and just, okay, like, you go do this, just be safe, have fun. If you didn't have that support at home, it probably would be really difficult if you were getting bullied all the time.
Yeah. And she's always reminding him to fight back. The grandmother seems feisty herself with her shirts and everything, and what we learn about her later on. He's definitely got something about him. He's got the built-in support, and maybe from his bloodline, he's got that strength. But yeah, there's a lot of funny things that happen along the way. I mean, he goes to speak at an elementary school, food at him. He wears this sheet that it's like it's from Waterboy, the pea-stained sheet, which is like one of the Easter eggs from another movie. He wears it as a ghost. And the kids just don't like what he's saying and start throwing food at him, a dodgeball.
And he's like, is that all you got? And then his magic thermos, all of a sudden he has an umbrella.
Like, what doesn't that thing have? It was a loudspeaker. If he threw it, it came right back to him. It's like, yeah, it really is Inspector Gadget. Anything and everything he needed. It became a little blender to mix up the eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah, gross. That was nasty. He was like, free breakfast. Yeah. And so he just clearly, everywhere he goes, kids, adults, except for there is one person who just finds him to be really, really, I guess like a stud, as she said. She's been in love with him. Violet Valentine, I guess they went to kindergarten together or whatever. He's been in love with her for a while. We don't learn that she also has been in love with him too for even longer. He says second grade, and she's like, oh, I've been in love with you since first grade or
kindergarten or something. And it's so funny because she is like most likely to marry whatever, most beautiful, most talented, most, all the superlatives. And his is like most likely to marry his pillow. He's like, I don't know what that means. But so it's like such the unlikely thing. And it's something we've mentioned before in other shows. He loves the V, like Vicky Valentine or Violet this, or, Valancourt and this. Like he loves all the V names for main characters, friends, or love interests.
He definitely has a very, almost like a template, but then he kind of mixes up things within the template and it still works.
Definitely.
Yeah, a nice thing to see.
And Violet, too. She's such a caring person. She's fostering 3 children and she just, works at the diner. She's single mother. She's, sounds like she married the police officer because they were dating in high school, but she hated him. She's always longing for Hubie because he's so kind. That's really important for her. It's like, just having someone really sweet. And so she sees his awkwardness, his dorkiness, whatever else he's portraying of like, wait a minute, no, he's someone I want to be aligned with, which is really nice.
Even though she was the most popular, like you said, all the superlatives that you would associate with maybe not being the kindest person or maybe not having that as their primary objective. I'm not saying people aren't, but maybe you wouldn't associate it, but she really is a very kind person herself and they're very well matched in that.
Yeah.
And she has 3 foster kids. She's very helpful, very devoted to people. And he is always trying to, despite the things that he messes up, be helpful. He wants to help protect people, be the Halloween monitor or speak at schools about safety. He feels this need to protect and try to serve. It's almost like he had the qualities of being a police officer, but maybe he couldn't handle the responsibilities of that, or maybe he didn't like the job requirements, but he still has a lot of the qualities I think that you would see in like a police officer, like a soldier kind of thing, like protectiveness. And so I think we come to learn in the story that there's some sort of monster starting to pick people off or make them disappear. Hubie's on it immediately and he thinks it's maybe Steve Buscemi, the weird neighbor that's a werewolf that's just kind of open in the cellar. They then realize that it's someone at his house. This is right around the time when he and Violet confess their feelings for each other, so he's got to leave that like complete romantic moment of like just being able to kiss the girl and be like, no, mama, like he's just so awkwardly run because he's working quote unquote undercover. And then he goes to his house and what does he discover?
Well, it's his mom, which is hard too. That he wants to save all the people and that they're still bullying him while he's trying to save them.
That part was just like, oh my God, seriously?
Still calling Hubie Doobie or whatever. And
or
just like his mom notices. She's like, you can't even not bully him right now.
Yeah. And then they kind of break down. The bullies are like, well, it's because I feel insecure. I feel like I need to be the coolest. The couple has their own issues going on between each other, so they're taking it out on him. And Leota is like, I don't remember. He said like he just has never
felt
like his father died, and he just kind of there's all these psychological reasons. In therapy, you work on those to uncover why somebody may be bullying or self-sabotaging or whatever it is, but in their case they were definitely bullying and taking that out on him. I thought it was really nice of him to like, that's his instinct, is to save people no matter what, even though these people have battered him, and he's like, no. Even that day, the couple, Tim Meadows and Maya Rudolph, had just played this huge prank on him, costume like coming towards him and trying to kill him. It scared the crap out of him, and he was like, oh no, you can't. His immediate instinct is like, he doesn't even think twice. And the mom, I don't know why I say grandma, but the mom is, because he always has grandmas. I always kind of think of her as like a grandma to him. But yeah, she's just like, do you see, like, I taught him all this, and, his instinct, like, basically, like, he's a good person, and you all just need to take a look at yourselves. Like, it was a therapy lesson, even though it was a scary one.
I've tried to have him stick up for himself, and I've tried to let him know he shouldn't stand for this. But even at the end, he still wants to make sure people are safe and feel like he's doing the right thing.
Yeah. And that makes him a pretty good person. And like, take a look at yourselves. Look at, why you feel the need to constantly tear him down is it because you feel so small.
Yeah.
Which is just like bullying 101. That's what we kind of teach kids, right? Like they're picking on you because they're mad at themselves kind of thing. But I think in that situation, it was kind of.
Sometimes it is hard to say or to listen. Maybe they have something going on at home, or maybe it's not always about you. But when you are getting bullied, it's hard not to be like, how is it not about me?
Right.
How is it not about me? I'm the one getting yelled at. I'm the one no one is talking to, or they're starting rumors about. The way it was explained, like while they're all tied up on their stakes, just, I have low self-esteem. Our marriage isn't good. I feel bad about myself. So it's like, oh, okay, who's the easy target? This person who doesn't have any friends.
And this person who cares about helping people.
Mm-hmm.
And who really is someone who is very susceptible to being picked on. Yeah, he kind of just continues to go towards things like if there's a kid in need or something like that, like easy ways of luring him towards trying to help so that they can just set him up. Yeah, I mean, it really is telling about how, and I know that's very cliche. We know that about bullies and everything, but it was a pretty nice example and just really funny with all the cast of characters.
Yeah. I mean, it took me a minute to even recognize Rob Schneider. And I know he just had a stupid blonde wig on, but I just like, who is that? It really took me a minute. And it's not like the costume was that great.
He kind of looks like a young James Spader, like in his blonde, snobby Beverly Hills 80s movies.
Yeah, because at first he had that look, the blonde bob haircut, then I was like, who is that? But it did look like a young James Spader.
I love the interactions that was like one of my favorite parts was when they were in the police station and turn themselves in and they're just like, they were talking about how, he's like, oh, so, Steve Buscemi was like, what have you been doing since he got out? Because Rob Schneider, his character or whatever, went out to come and get him because they were roommates in the werewolf mental institution. And he was like, oh, I peed on a grave, I peed on this. Like everything was about peeing on things. And he was like, yeah, you love to pee on things. And he's like, I'm peeing now. And then he kind of pets him. Rob Schneider pets him. And then Steve Buscemi just like licks his hand like a dog. Like they're just like two dog friends. I was just imagining the outtakes of that. They must have been cracking up. Oh my God. They're hilarious of that scene. Just the two of them together.
Yeah.
It was funny.
Steve Buscemi.
Yeah. He's hilarious. He's just always so creepy but like not to the point where you hate him, you just want to laugh. And
yeah, no, he's really good. I'm really loving him in Wednesday right now too.
He's very good in that. I don't think there's one character that he's ever been in. I've seen a lot of his movies, probably not all of them, but I've always liked him. But yeah, he's good. Along with many of the other characters that are in there. And some other references from other movies, Billy Madison O'Doyle.
Which will be recording Billy Madison in a few weeks. It was funny because I was like, yeah, the O'Doyles and the pee thing, the mama, like there's a lot of different little things. And I guess a lot of the characters were homage to other characters in other movies too. Like the police officer was someone in Waterboy in the past. So it's funny.
That's
Kevin
I
James.
think another movie that made us happy, really funny, some great elements. And
yeah, no, it's positive. And I think the reason why we're drawn to Adam Sandler, not because we're super immature, which we might be, but I think it's because most of his movies have, and it's going to end in a positive way.
Yeah.
Usually Adam's character figures something out or people around him figure something out, and there usually is a lesson learned.
Hubie learns that you have to stick up for yourself and go for what you want. You can still be a good person on the way he wants to be. And he ends up with the love of his life, Violet. They have 3 kids that Violet has had. It looks like he's adopted them.
They got married and then he becomes mayor. So then all of a sudden the whole town recognized his self-appointed monitor sash and being the policing the whole town all the time actually could be helpful. And maybe they needed someone like that as their mayor.
Yeah, he actually cares. Unlike the former one who didn't even want to shut down the Halloween festivities when like a kid was missing and a couple was maybe missing. He didn't seem to care, but Hubie obviously cares. And I think Adam sticks to that theme of a person who cares is going to serve best. That's utmost importance, how kind you are, how much you care.
I think that could be used in many different circumstances.
Yeah, for sure. I think there's probably not a lot of that going on, especially now in this world. So maybe it is really good to just keep watching Adam Sandler movies.
I'm sure there's a lot. We could probably talk about him for a very long time.
Yeah, for sure. And he's probably got more on the way. I mean, I don't know, but I'm sure he does. He
Yeah,
doesn't seem to stop too often. It was a really good movie. I like it as a Halloween movie. It's funny. He kind of talks in that voice. Like he's not sure of himself. He mumbles. I find that really hilarious. It could be a Halloween favorite, I think.
Yeah, I think it could be because it's not super, super terrifying, but it does definitely make you want to get into the Halloween spirit.
Yeah. So should we go with our challenge question?
Yes. Oh, I like those. It makes me think.
Okay. So if you transform, and I mean literally transform, not in a
Okay.
costume,
Like Steve Buscemi. Okay.
like Steve Buscemi, yep, like like say on Halloween, one day a year, and be a werewolf or a vampire, which would you choose?
Probably a vampire. I loved all the Anne Rice books when I was younger, and the Vampire Diaries and all the vampire shows. I think it would just be fun and cool to be a vampire. You don't always have to kill everybody. You just kind of suck their blood, I guess, and you still have your wits about you, because with a werewolf, you're like, it seems like you're full dog, full wolf, and you don't really have any human aspects. So you're not really able to not kill.
You're not in control.
So there's a little restraint, and you seem more refined and fancy. And there's a lot of velvet and cloaks, and it just seems really fun. It seems like it'd be just a lot more fun to dress up or just all of a sudden transform as a vampire.
It's fancier. I do like that. That's funny. Oh my gosh. I didn't think of it that way, but it is.
So much velvet. So much velvet.
Velvet is in now, and I actually got a couple things in velvet, so I'm feeling that.
I used to be a big velvet wearer, like in high school. Like, like it seemed like it's like a big thing, like, velvet and corduroy. I love soft stuff. But in Florida, it's not really practical. It's not really practical to wear corduroy. You might die.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. That definitely could. Yeah, you got to be careful with that. Yeah.
Hard to wear velvet and corduroy.
I do like the corduroy pants they have out sometimes. I do like that for fall.
I like the sound of corduroy too. Like when you're walking.
I like it now. I definitely didn't like it when I was younger. I did not at all. Yeah. So that is a good outlook on it. And I share that. I would rather be a vampire. I've always loved vampires. Same. I was into Vampire Diaries, Anne Rice. I just always liked the romanticism of vampires. Yeah. I was never into Twilight. That was like, to me, I'm not into that, but no hate if you are, that wasn't my thing. Really loved the historic tie to vampires, like how far back it goes, the lore of it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess the fanciness too. And that you kind of seem more refined. You're like more in control. You're not as feral as like if you're a werewolf kind of thing. Yeah. You could probably fly or something. I don't know. I'd rather fly than like run on all fours. So
it is like fun. The romanticism, even with Interview with a Vampire, Vampire Diaries, they both have it make it seem very romanticizing. And then of course, like Buffy the Vampire, it makes it seem very like, okay, you kind of want to be the slayer, but not the vampire, but it is very cool. Lost Boys made me always interested in vampires too.
Love Lost Boys.
So I've always been very interested. Like they just seem very cool. It does.
Yeah, they definitely have a mystery surrounding them. And like you said, they do have fancy digs. They are like usually in some mansion, like they got their like little casket, that they get done. And I mean, in some modern takes on vampires in shows and movies, I've seen that people can even have synthetic blood, so you may not even have to suck blood, right? Because technology, I don't know, or series. But yeah, I think that would be I would definitely I would like to be a vampire. I think that would be cool. I would be a vampire if I could for a day out of the year. Probably not.
Once a year.
Once a year, I think would be. I mean, I have the skin to match. Dark hair, pale. I'm rocking it already. A couple of kids when I was growing up would say I looked like a vampire, and I took it as a compliment, but really it was an insult to them. I'm okay with that. Didn't mind it.
That's funny. We both kind of fall on the same thing. I think it would just be being a werewolf. I did like that show. What was it? Being Human or something like that, where it was a werewolf, a vampire, and a ghost all lived together.
I didn't see that one.
It was pretty good. Cool. But yeah, I don't know.
Is that the one where they're kind of fancy, funny? There's a series that's really funny. It's sarcastic and silly little parables. So it's really funny. That may have been where I heard about the synthetic blood stuff.
Different things. It's hard to keep track.
And there's updates of shows. And Wednesday, they don't really focus so much on vampires, but they do with the werewolf, with Enid's character and the wolf pack and wolfing out and everything. That just doesn't sound appealing. You just go berserk and can't really control yourself. You run around and you're dirty and you're eating things that are disgusting. You do have superhuman strength or whatever, but I'm good. I guess we made up our minds. Vampires are it.
Yes, vampires it is.
All right. So we hope you like this. Let us know what you think. We are on all the things, including YouTube, if you'd like to see the tea stain on my shirt. Erin pointed out we are wearing kind of similar style shirts with pleats on the shoulders.
Vampire-y, the Victorian era, I guess.
So yeah. Just subscribe, subscribe. A review of us always helps. Tell someone. We're always into new people. And if you have any ideas about what you would like for shows, we're open to that as well. But yeah, so I think that's it. And don't forget, stay wicked.
Have a great week. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.